Welcome to Brains Gone Bold. I am Maria.
And I'm Jeanine.
We're happy to have you along on this ride with us, of course. We dive into topics of all kinds. And today, I think we're going to be going in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Where are we headed?
Well, Maria's going to teach us some things today. Maybe just me, but I'm excited. She gave me a preview a couple of weeks ago after her experience with this. And so I know I'm teasing it a little bit, but I've been wanting to learn more. And so this is a great opportunity. So thank you for being willing to do so. And I hope that you guys really get into it the way I'm about to geek out. So let's go. Teach me, girl. Teach me.
Well, I want to stop short of the word teach in all honesty, because it's something that I am actively learning myself. It's a little probably premature to use the word teach. Plus, I'm not authorized to teach.
I appreciate this disclaimer. So that's good.
But I do want to share something that I've learned over the past couple of weeks that for me has been so eye-opening. In all honesty, I feel like it has the potential to be life-changing. Which is a really big phrase to use, but it has just been so helpful for me that I wanted to share with you and whoever may be listening. Yeah. So before I dive into what we're going to talk about, I want to ask you and maybe anyone who's listening a question, which is, when was the last time, can you remember the last time that you felt yourself reactive to something, whether that be verbally, in your body, whatever that looks like, or the last time you experienced someone else being that way?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, recently, just reviewing some dialogue and feeling so insecure. And I mean, it was you. Yeah. And it was this morning, just really feeling like I'm already a little unstable about this or unsure about this. Yeah. And it felt like you were throwing a wrench in my plans. Like that's the way it felt in the moment. Yeah. And so that's going to be the most recent.
And
time.
In that moment, what happened for you? How did you feel? How did you react? What was the situation?
I honestly had this moment of, now what? Like, what do I do? Yeah. And it just felt really uncomfortable. Yeah. And I think I made it even more uncomfortable. So if I'm going to be uncomfortable, so are you.
Well, right. And what did I say to you? I think I said, I don't want to stress you out.
Yes, you did. You did. See, I don't even remember. Yeah. Because I was so in the grip that there was not conscious thought. It was all reaction. Yeah.
That's I love that you use the phrase in the grip, because that is such a good way of describing what happens to us when we're in those moments. We're not going to have a therapy session, as we say here in our discussions very often. But
apparently I need it.
But I wanted to encourage you and anyone listening to think about that and think about, what was it that caused that reaction in you, and how did that feel in your body, and what did you do with that? Okay. Going back again to what we're going to talk about here today, and there's actually a great tie-in to the title of our podcast, Brains Gone Bold. What I learned a couple of weeks ago, I was in a business advisory group that I am a part of, where we have speakers that come in every so often to teach us things that can help, whether it be on a personal or professional level. And this was I just joined this group. So this was my first experience of a speaker coming in. And the speaker's name is Dr. Bill Crawford. So everything that I'm talking about here today, all of the credit goes to him. And he has written, I think it's 8 books at this point. The one in particular that he was there talking with us about is called Life from the Top of the Mind. Okay. And I am going to try and summarize a 4-hour conversation into a very abbreviated one for us here today. But basically, number one, he is a psychologist. He has studied all things psychology, but he's also studied neuroscience. So he wanted to, in his work, approach everything from both angles, so that, there's real scientific evidence and so on behind what he teaches. So his book, Life from the Top of the Mind, talks about how our brains are essentially separated into 3 different levels. Okay. So if you think of this in a visual perspective, and he did have visuals for us that were really helpful, take a picture of our brains and separate it into 3 different sections. Okay. The upper
I'm
brain,
drawing this because it helps me to visualize.
You draw it, yes, and you're very good at drawing. So maybe that can we can share that with our audience if you would like. Not so sure?
Not so sure. We'll see when it's over.
Okay. So the top of the brain is the neocortex and I guess prefrontal cortex. Again, I'm not I'm not an expert in this. This is the part of our mind that's responsible for things like creativity, connection, logical thinking, problem solving, all of the things that we actually really want from a positive standpoint in how we approach things in our lives. The middle of the brain is where the amygdala is. The middle of the brain is, he described it essentially as a filter. So this is kind of where all day long we are getting signals from our environment about what's happening around us. And it goes in and gets filtered through the middle part of the brain. And that part of the brain decides what to do with it. It has 2 options. One is to send it to the top of the brain, or the top of the mind, as he calls it, that I just shared with you, or the lower brain. The lower brain is, he referred to it as our reptilian brain. This is, the brain stem. This is where we experience fleeing, fight, freeze. This is where we experience overwhelm.
In that middle section? In the filter,
the lower section. The lower section, yes. Okay. That's where we experience stress, overwhelm, anxiety, all of the negative emotions. It's where we feel stuck. It's where we feel...
That word, it gives me a reaction.
Right. Yes, I agree with you. And so he had me at hello, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's so relatable in just even having this visual, and to understand and know that this is a scientific, actual thing that happens in our brains, right? To an extent.
And probably like this.
Yes. And to an extent, it feels as though it's something we have no control over. And so, he went on further to explain, and I think a lot of us kind of know this as well, which is our brains, specifically that middle part, the amygdala part, is built to have a negativity bias. So, because it's there to help protect us, and it's there to identify, is there a threat? And if so, what do I do with that? If there's any kind of threat, I'm going to send it to the lower part of the brain, which is going to require me to either fight or flee or freeze in some cases, right? So just for me, even understanding that this is a process that takes place kind of innately was really helpful to me to begin with.
Yeah.
So he went on to explain to us that our brains, this is one of the pieces that was so powerful to me. Our brains do not have the ability to interpret reality from imagination. So when that middle part of our brain is taking in these signals or these cues, either from our external environment or from our own imagination, it's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Why is that powerful? At the moment where I was sitting there learning this from him, I was in a group of business owners. He was at the front of the room teaching us, and I had my cell phone sitting on the table. And for a minute, I thought to myself, should I have my phone on the table? Is this rude? Number one, could it be a distraction if it starts vibrating or something like that? I should probably put it in my bag. Just as quickly as I had that thought, I thought, what if something horrible happens at my son's school? What if my son needs to get a hold of me and I don't hear my phone because it's in my bag? And for me, because I tend to easily spiral in those moments, that's just how I'm wired currently. Currently, good disclaimer. I start going through this whole scenario in my mind of an example of something horrible that happened at his school. Catastrophizing it to a level that no one wants to do. And I literally could feel that surge of adrenaline in my body. I could feel my heart racing. I immediately get like this and I start panicking like, oh my God, what if this happens at his school? And I really in great detail do this. And it happens in a period of 10 seconds. 10 seconds is all I need.
Do you think the people around you would have noticed that you were in this? This was all going on inside. All going on
inside. And that connection between my imagination of I was thinking about these horrible things happening and then the reaction in my body. I mean, we all know that our bodies react to stress and what happens to us when we feel emotions and that kind of thing. But it caused me to have such panic in that moment where I cannot move this. I cannot move this phone from the table. And then I was disconnected from the conversation. You're no longer hearing. I'm no longer hearing what's happening around me in a logical way. So the interesting thing for me in this, and I actually want to invite you even and our audience to play along here, because this part was so impactful when he was describing almost at that exact moment, the difference that our minds cannot determine between real or imagination. I was literally doing this at the moment. He said, I want to show you how this actually works. He said, hold out your hand like this. Hold your hand up to your mouth like you're holding a big lemon. And close your eyes even. Imagine that lemon, how it smells, how it feels in your hand. Imagine the juice running from that lemon. And then imagine you take a big, giant bite out of that lemon. You just made a face as I suggested that. What's happening for you?
I mean, because you know what a lemon, smells like, tastes like, the tartness, like I lost moisture, It's like everything just seized up. Because the idea of that, it's like, I'm not going to bite into a lemon. I'm just not. As a kid, I would have. But as a grown woman.
Well, what you experience is a little different than what I experience. I experience like I'm salivating, my mouth, I feel like I'm about to eat something really sour, which I do not like, of course, but a lot of people do. I do not. And so were you actually holding a lemon and biting into it? No, it was your imagination. And we can do
it's based on what we know from previous experiences.
And so we know it and we imagined it and our bodies reacted to that imagination. And so the conversation went on to talk about when all of these signals are coming in, whether it be externally or internally, our brains have that negative bias, right? Let's look for anything that might be even a small little threat. And then it can either, he called it downshifting to the lower part of the brain, or I think he called it upshifting to the top of the mind or top of the brain. One of the things in this that was so powerful to me as well is, I mentioned to you the top of the brain being associated with creativity. So, probably our listeners don't know, about me that I love to write. I also struggle greatly to write, meaning I haven't written anything worth talking about in probably a few years. And part of that is because, and I've known this, I am under a significant amount of stress in my daily life. A lot of work stress. I have a lot going on. There are responsibilities coming at me from a million directions, as is true for most people. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, I am exhausted. And so I always say the stars have to align for me to feel the energy, feel inspired, feel connected to something that I want to write, which happens very, very rarely anymore. And it's been weighing heavily on me because that is such a big part of who I am.
Right.
To the point that I think I may have even said to you recently, or I said to someone else as well, maybe I just don't have it anymore. You know, maybe that was just a fleeting part of my life that is no longer a part of who I am because it's been so missing.
Right.
And his messaging was, when we are naturally wired to have a negativity bias and downshift into that stressed, overwhelmed, fearful part of the brain, it essentially acts as a gatekeeper and makes it really, really difficult for us to access that top of the brain where creativity lives. Essentially, you're operating in survival mode.
Right.
All of the time. Survival mode.
I mean, I'm sure you're not done but I've got this. Well, so what do we do? What are we going to do about this moment happening?
Yeah. I mean, it's great awareness to have, right? But what do you do about it? And I do want to stop short of training or teaching people what to do about it, because
what are you going to do?
I am going to follow his protocol.
Okay. That is what's the word I'm looking for? Dodgy? Like you're dodging me.
I'm not dodging. What I suggest and highly recommend, highly recommend from this is one of two things. Either Google Life from Top of the Mind. There are YouTube videos where you can actually see him talking about this and describing what to do about it, or purchase the book.
We are not, obviously, we're not sponsors in any way. We're not affiliated.
He has no clue.
It's just a really cool thing that you learned. And to your point, could be really life-changing for you.
Yes.
I'm not saying it won't be for me, but that's the way you describe it, which is powerful.
Right. And the great thing is, so number one, he has very clear, very relatable and easy steps that we can take, that essentially what we have to do is rewire our brain, get it in a new habit from downshifting to upshifting.
Right.
And that is possible. And he's given us real examples of how that's happened for people he's worked with and even himself. And so he has ways for us to do that. The beauty of it is not only does he have ways for us to do that for ourselves, but he has ways for us to do that with other people. So if you are dealing with someone in your personal life or at work who is really resistant to hearing your message, or if you are a leader and you have someone on your team who simply cannot hear you, is not cooperative, is negative all the time, who can't receive your message in a way that you need them to, he has ways for you to, he does not use the word manipulate, but I'm going to use it, manipulate the situation in a way that allows you to get what you need.
Right.
And
well, what a tool that would be. I mean, honestly, what a skill set, something to have in your toolbox, because I mean, we know in our personal lives, in addition to our work lives, that you encounter those people quite a bit.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, even again, our family members, you know, children. And so I think that's the question that's coming up for me. I know a lot of times, so he's a specialist, obviously he's studied this, and we're just talking from, you know, wherever.
We are not.
And so I wonder, and we're definitely not, I definitely not. I wonder, children, is this something, or is this adults only? You know, what's the application?
Good question. It is not adults only. He actually has written 8 books, and he has a couple books specifically on how to address this or do this with children. Okay. And also to help children understand it for themselves. So I think there's a lot of beauty in that terms of, boy, I wish I had that as a child.
For sure.
Or I hope to provide that for mine, you know.
Right.
I know when I learned it that day, I mean, I have a teenager, And I went home and I shared with him how excited I was about what I had learned.
What was his response?
He just listened intently. He didn't really have a big response other than he recognizes in me, unfortunately, I'll call it my anxiety, my stress, as much as I try to mask it, it's a thing, I worry about him a lot, and that comes out in ways that probably he doesn't appreciate as much. And so he made a comment that said, so you're a lower brain thinker. Well, okay, yes, but only for now.
Right. So there's work to be done.
There is work to be done.
Yeah.
So he has done work and has resources out there available for people, of all stages of life and how to address things, because there are differences, certainly.
Oh, for sure.
And how you do it with children versus adults. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, and so I'm looking at my little diagram
I would love to see it.
That I put out, and I'm thinking about I know we talked about being stuck as far as in the lower brain conversation, but can you get stuck in the middle? In the amygdala. Can you get stuck there where your filter is faulty and it's not moving? It's not moving top or bottom. It's just kind of.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Because that would be interesting to me as well.
Yeah.
In addition to being able to shape or manipulate or what have you and go, this isn't real. This, like using your example, nothing has happened. It is not real. Obviously, it's a possibility. It's the society we live in, but it's not real. This didn't happen. Yeah. We don't need to flee. We can stay where we are, get present in this moment.
Yeah.
Or, will it just sit?
I don't know the answer truly. I would guess, based on what I learned from him, that the answer is no, because that's just how our brains are literally wired. It has to go somewhere, is my understanding.
Okay.
But I could be wrong in that. We can certainly look into that.
Well, I mean, it's something I will definitely, I'm interested. When you first mentioned it, I also wrote it down. I didn't do a diagram, but we didn't go into it in the same way.
Yeah.
And so being able to kind of write it out is certainly, I'm going to show you my little picture. So probably harder for you to see from there.
Yes.
But so I've got the top and the bottom, and then of course the downshifting and the upshifting.
Yes.
And then notes on each one as far as, what you experience when this is happening versus that. And, like you, I'm creative, but in a different way. It's not writing. It's going to be drawing or painting or whatever. And I know you've explored that side as well.
Yes.
And it's true. When I am experiencing overwhelm or stress out, it takes a lot for me to get there. I don't typically, think about, if I have a pain, I don't immediately go, I have a brain tumor.
Okay.
Like I don't normally go there.
What is that like? I'd like to get there.
But I do get overwhelmed when there's so many moving parts. As you know, I'm moving. And so I've got all of this stuff happening at the same time. And I do find myself going, I need to draw, or I need to, as a reliever. However, I then tend to also judge it much more harshly than when I'm in a good creative flow and, things are just happening and looking good. And so I get that standpoint of, no, but I force myself because it is an outlet for me.
Yeah.
You do this, you run, you do those kind of things. I'm not necessarily a runner. So the creative stuff, I try to lean into a little bit more.
Yeah. So I think what you're speaking to is so important and is kind of a big part of where he's trying to get us to, which is self-awareness or having that awareness instead of just allowing our brains to do their natural thing and take over.
Yeah.
Because their natural thing is going to be, is there a threat here? And if there's any perceived threat whatsoever, we're going negative.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is you have the awareness in the moment of, I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. Maybe you've had too many downshifts.
Yeah.
Right. But you're able to say, okay, how do I self-support?
Not always.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really do try to, because I know how relieving it is to me.
Yeah.
and in thinking about what you described, because I've read your writing, I'm privileged to have seen some of the things that you've written. And I can see how connected and emotional, and it comes from someplace really deep inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can't access that, it would feel like being constipated. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's a very extreme example.
Yeah.
But to be stopped up that way, that you can't get there.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It's a big block. Yeah. It's a big block. It has to be
challenging.
And I said to someone a couple of weeks ago, before I learned all of this, it was actually right before I learned this.
It's interesting
I
how
had
timing
said,
works.
it was a friend, mentor of mine who is also very supportive of my writing. And she, every time I connect with her, she asks, have you written anything? Why aren't you writing? You need to be writing. And she's very encouraging, persuasive, if you want to call it that.
Nice.
And I said to her, I honestly feel like I don't have anything to say.
Oh.
And, she had that reaction too. It was the first time I had put words to that feeling. And it was impactful to me as well to say, I just feel like I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
And then a few days later is when I learned this. And it just became so clear to me of
why?
No wonder.
Yeah.
I feel like I have nothing to say.
So for our listeners, Maria and I are both very spiritual, I think is the way to put it. And we believe in, we have very strong beliefs. It might not be the organized religion kind of stuff, but we have very strong beliefs. And so as you're talking about this, and that a few days later, you get this experience with, was it Dr. Brooks?
Bill Crawford.
I wrote it down, but
Crawford.
for some reason, Dr. Brooks is in my brain.
That's okay.
So with Bill Crawford, that like the timing couldn't have been better.
Right.
And like the universe kind of organized things. Yeah. Because having those moments, I think, helps you get a little bit unstuck. So you're sitting in this space and even just hearing about something that could be, I'm going to say the answer, but could be the key to helping you move into those other spaces is beautiful. Yeah. You've got that opportunity. Otherwise you do get stuck in like, well, there's no solution for this. So I just must not have it anymore, period.
Yeah. And I really strongly dislike that feeling or even the fact I have that thought.
Right. And said it out loud.
But I have tried so many things to try and kind of get that unstuck. I've tried so much, and this just feels different to me. It feels empowering in a way that I haven't experienced before.
Right.
And so I have started trying to do what he suggests, and it's not time consuming. It's not difficult. It does require repetition.
Can you share some I know you're not trying to advocate, but what are you doing that may be helpful?
Yeah. It requires you to have the awareness in the moment of what's happening.
Okay.
So you need to be able to stop, basically take a breath and ask yourself a few questions that activate the top of the mind. So one of the interesting things is part of his exercise includes very quick counting exercise.
Okay.
Very quick. And he said, interestingly, the only part of our brain that can count is the top of the brain.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So he said that's why when you see people who are trying to support someone who might be in an active panic attack, you're telling them to count backwards from 100 or whatever that looks like, because you're literally activating that other part of the brain.
That never connected for me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So part of it includes several different things, but asking ourselves certain types of questions. And he gives you examples of that. Part of it, in all honesty, which I thought was also powerful as a mother, is going back to that imagination.
Yeah.
Is imagining yourself not responding in the fearful state. What would that look like? How would you be showing up in everything? Because again, your brain can't tell the difference between reality or imagination.
Right.
And he also said, even go so far as to imagine that you are being recorded on video. And that video is going to be shown to a loved one, a kid, someone that you really love, as a training video for how to act. How would you feel about that? Mm-hmm. Is this the way that you would want them to see you on video? Mm-hmm. So there are just a lot of different things. And he has a model that actually, I mean, you'll find it if you look it up on YouTube or whatever, it actually spells brain.
Oh, okay. That's so funny.
So again, brain's gone bold. I feel like it fits well. So it's easy to remember.
Okay.
You know, each of the steps spells out brain. And he has other things too that go along with it. But it's really easy and not time consuming. But again, requires repetition. Yeah. So every day you need to be doing this. And he said
it needs to become a habit.
It needs to become a habit. Mm-hmm. It's not the 21 days that we all think habits get formed. It's more like a couple of months because it's a deep reprogramming that needs to happen.
Right.
But goodness sakes, I'd rather take 2 months
for sure
practicing how to be better than to continue being stuck
in that spiral.
Yeah, right.
The down shifting.
Yes, the downward shifting spiral. Right.
Agree.
Yeah.
And you know, it is true. I mean, that 21 habit thing is something that's so pervasive, and you hear it, whether it's diet, whether it's, you know, exercise. All of the things, if they say, do anything for 21 days, I've done plenty of things for 21 days and it did not stick, so to speak. And so I think there's people that have certain personalities where they have to do something maybe radical in order to shift that.
Yeah.
And hearing something that could potentially be not necessarily radical, but could have a radical impact with these small steps that you take. I think I know you and I have talked about this before about Mel Robbins, and, you know, she has that high five habit.
Right.
And I find that really appealing as well because, you know, think about some of the conversations that we've had or you've had with a girlfriend where they're just really being terrible to themselves. And you kind of stop in the moment and go, if I was having this problem, what would you say to me?
Yeah.
And, you know, you put yourself in that moment of, you know, being a cheerleader for your friend. Well, be a cheerleader for yourself. And so the high five habit talks about, you know, every morning when you wake up and you see yourself in the mirror, physically give yourself a high five, because nobody's unhappy when they're given a high five, right? Just to start your day. And it might sound silly, but there's something to it because as he's talking about, your brain doesn't know if it's real or fake.
Yeah.
And so that motion of doing this high five and putting yourself in this joyful moment, you know, is that trigger or could be that trigger for you.
Yeah.
So I love stuff like that.
I mean, it illustrates how much we get in our own way.
Yes.
And goodness. And why do we do that?
No, we're wired. We're wired to do that.
Right. We have some answers now. But it's frustrating.
It is. It is.
And I know you're the one. I hadn't heard about the high five habit until you introduced me to it. I've not read, I think there's a book, correct? I've not read the book. I've not really listened to Mel Robbins talk about it much. But I will tell you, when I envisioned doing that, and I think after you shared it with me, I may have done it once or twice. It's so awkward.
So awkward. Yes. To look at yourself in the mirror. First of all, I realize that I never look at myself in the mirror. So like when I'm putting my makeup on, I look at the thing that I look at my eye, I look at my eye, I look at my mouth. I look at things in segments, but I never look at myself in the mirror. Oh. When I go to the bathroom, I go to the bathroom and then I leave the bathroom. I wash my hands.
I was going to say, hopefully there's a step in there.
Maybe not. There's this whole like moment of I never look at myself in the mirror. And there's a whole lot we could talk to about that, right?
Oh,
but I'm not going to because, again, not a therapy session.
Right.
But I don't. And so doing that, first of all, forced me to look at myself in the mirror. And listen, let me just admit right now, I don't do it. I mean, I did it. I've done it, but I don't do it.
The high five.
Yes, the high five habit. So, but in that moment of having to look at myself and genuinely give myself a high five, there was something wonderful, but also awkward and a little disingenuous about it.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like,
I agree with that.
I don't really feel this way.
Right.
And I know it's supposed to be like forcing, but I don't feel this way. And I'm like, woo, girl, go. Like, I'm not feeling that.
Right.
So,
right.
you know, and I will say I chuckled. And so that kind of stayed with me, which ultimately maybe that is
That's
the experience,
positive.
right?
Yeah.
So when I left the bathroom, I was like, you idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
And so maybe that's the moment.
Right. But there's no one else watching.
Right.
I think you're thinking, you idiot, because we have all of these other judgments that we know if someone were watching us give ourselves a high five, they would be laughing.
Right. What are you doing?
Yeah. Which, okay, whatever.
Did you just give yourself a high five?
Yeah, right. I did.
I sure did. Because like, it does feel really odd, but I get all the science and whatever about it. But I don't live in a sciencey world for myself typally.
Yes, I know. And I do not either.
Yeah.
But there was something about this science that resonated with me so deeply. I've been telling people about it ever since, even though I, again, am still learning and practicing myself. I'm only a couple of weeks into this now, having learned it and being able to process it. But hopefully either you or if anyone else is listening, you know, they find it helpful too, for what it's worth for them.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer, Maria, even if, let's just say this guy's a whack job and none of it's true and he just made it all up. Yeah. Even if you believe it and can find the value in it, then that in itself is something. And I don't think he is. And it sounds, very reasonable.
You'll find that he is not a whack job. Yes. He's like very all legit.
Of the stuff. But if it was and it worked, like me doing this in a mirror, if it works, so what? Yeah. So what? Yeah. And so I'm glad. And I love it. I love this stuff too. You know that. So really interesting. Yeah. And I love a good acronym too. So I need to look it up and see what the brain and brain. I think I spelled it Brian. I'm not wearing my glasses right now. So I'll try to make sure that.
That's a little concerning. But okay.
I'm looking at it and it's like, I think that's his Brian.
Who's Brian?
Maybe Brian's on my mind.
Do we need to talk about this?
There is no Brian. There is no Brian. There's no Jack. There's no Harry. There's no Steve, Stu, no one. None. Anyway, back to this topic.
Maybe we need a Brian in your life. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
I need a brain. Not a Brian, a brain.
Why not ask for both?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I will. I mean, I'm happy to share if we want to see if we can get it. Like, I don't know if we're techie enough to be able to figure out how to have this kind of show up on the screen.
Okay.
We'll see.
I mean, if not, there are visuals out there. So people.
Not as good as this.
Of course not. Absolutely not as good as what Jeanine drew.
And I'll change it to brain if it says Brian.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. So any closing thoughts on this topic that you can think of in terms of either for you or people you love? I'm going to
reserve the right to come back to it. Because I do think it's one of those topics that you kind of like want to think about. I was going to say cogitate for a while.
I've never heard that word.
It is a real word.
Your bank of vocabulary words is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the words that you use.
Should we write down our word of the day? So cogitate just means let it kind of sit in there.
Cogitate? So bake.
Okay. So cogitate, kind of like agitate in a washer. When it agitates, it's the same thing in your brain. When it cogitates, it kind of moves around. And so if it's just baking, it's just kind of sitting there. I want it to move around. I want it to kind of do this thing and, you know. So I want to sit with it for a while and then maybe come back to it. But I'm fascinated and I'm even more fascinated with how it applies to you. Because as we talked about, you know, you do sit there and to be able to successfully move that thought process, that would be amazing. And I hope for that for you. I hope for it for me in some things as well. I was going
to say, help me understand specifically for me why you.
So because you've made the comment and today you made it. That what does that feel like when I said, so I would love for you to experience that.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to experience it more. I want to be more skillful at it and be able to. So I love that.
Yeah. And I will tell you that I wasn't always this way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I struggle with sometimes is when I think the impetus for me becoming downshifting a little bit more than I ever did before in my life was when I became a mother.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
And I think that's pretty common.
Absolutely.
Which is you suddenly have all of these unexplored before fears of something happening to the most important thing in your life.
Yes.
And that easily, again, I can see how the habit of the worry just constantly kind of gets you stuck in.
Yeah. And it probably compounds too. The older they get, the more independence they have, the more you want to draw them to you.
Yes.
So, all of those things for sure. Yeah. I mean, please know I'm not judging in any way. I think it's more like, for you to have, there's a freedom in some of it too. And for me to have it, for you to have it, for anybody listening to have it, I'd love to hear stories of how it worked. That to me would be really exciting. How did this work? That's why I say I reserve the right to come back to it.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Yeah.
So you're
going to give an update.
You're going to hold me accountable to my, I'm not going to use the word teachings.
That's what coaches do.
Are you my coach?
Sometimes.
All right. I'll take it.
Sometimes. Yeah.
As long as I don't have to pay you.
Damn. I'm just giving it away for free.
This is pro bono coaching.
It is. You certainly give enough back. So that's fair. It's reciprocal.
Fine.
What are your final thoughts on that? Where do you want to go with this? Like, what are you hoping for? I'm just real interested.
I am hoping for a totally new Maria.
I'm not. I love this Maria. I do. So I'm hoping like maybe for some fine tuning for myself.
Yes.
And so maybe that's what we hope for.
Yeah. I'm hoping for more than fine tuning.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not a whole new Maria, although I think I would embrace that from the angle of, we talked, I think in another episode, I say, you've seen the behind the scenes. I have people tell me a lot, which I appreciate, that I have a very calming presence and I make them feel more calm and peaceful and whatever that looks like, which I love and I'm happy for. But that is not how I feel inside. And so, that difference between how I show up and what I'm struggling with inside is so stark. I would like there to be a little bit less of lot less of a gap so that I can feel that calm for myself. And so that's my hope in all of this is that I can bridge that gap a bit.
There's part of me, and this part's going to come out, where I've said to you before, I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. And what you just described as far as what people experience, that calming side of you, you want to experience that inside as well. And so having the opportunity to feel what people see, I think, is so important. I mean, I don't know why it's so hard just in general for people to accept compliments. Maybe it feels, again, sometimes it probably is disingenuous, but I do believe that when people give a compliment, that they mean it. Otherwise, they just wouldn't have said anything at all.
Yeah.
And so finding a way to tell our brains, this is real. This is a real compliment. Accept it.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have over time gotten better with, I no longer, call me on this if you think I'm wrong. Okay. At least not a lot. I do not dismiss compliments. I try not to. I try to at least say thank you. If that's as far as it goes, saying thank you. Does it permeate, where I actually feel that the compliment is true?
Yeah. I think you are very gracious. You are genuinely a very gracious person. I can't think of a time where I've said something where you have been like, that is not true, or no, whatever. With that being said, there are times, particularly if it's more personal to you, where I can see it's not permeated, even though you say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's okay. I know. I know I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think for me, I think there is a big correlation in terms of whether or not I believe the compliment.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to believe the compliment because then that makes me egotistical.
That's interesting.
This is going back a long time ago. For me, I have a strong dislike for egotistical people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I want to do whatever I can to not be that way.
Is it around topics? So when I have a harder time accepting, oh, you looked really nice in that photo, compliments. So about physical or about appearance. Mm-hmm. But if somebody were to go, oh, you did really good work there, I don't have I don't have a hard time at all accepting it because I know I did good work. You know what I'm saying? So for you, like, can you pinpoint when people say good stuff about your writing, is it hard for you to hear? Your art, is it hard for you to hear? But if somebody says, hey, Maria, you did a really good job on that policy that you wrote, is that hard for you to hear?
It's not hard for me to hear. I will tell you there definitely is a weighting system.
Okay.
So
that's a great descriptor.
Yeah. So when we talk about compliments about how you look, for me, carries very little weight.
Okay.
I mean, sure, nice to hear, but I just place so little weight on someone giving me a physical compliment. But when it comes to my writing, as an example, if I share my writing with people, I've shared this with you before, hugely vulnerable for me, hugely.
Yes.
So in that case, if I receive positive compliments, it is like I am on cloud 9.
Yeah.
I am as high as I could be on that compliment because it means so much to me. But there is a double-edged sword because it also means that if I put my writing out and I'm not hearing, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever read in my life.
Right. You feel so exposed.
I think, oh my God, it's terrible. They don't like it. I feel, So, there's definitely a weighting system is what I would call it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. How did we get here? What?
I don't know.
Okay.
The way we get to anywhere. I feel like we say this every single time.
I know. And I don't know why I feel the need to even ask the question. Yeah.
Well, I think it is all part of what we were talking about with the brain and how we process information. Because everything is information. And so do we have the tendency to raise it up? Push it down?
Yeah.
You know, how are we processing this? And so, you know, everything from compliments to there was old like flowers or bricks I can't remember how it was, but that's all information and how we process that. I mean, we are fascinating beings. And I don't just mean we are fascinating beings, just in general.
Yeah.
You know, to look at it culturally and, you know, you can go to any community in any country and probably have similar conversations about parenting, you know, working, all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean,
human condition, I guess.
Human condition.
I guess.
Exactly. Well, this was a really good conversation. I thank you for being willing to talk about it. I know that you said you don't want to teach because you're not the expert, and I can appreciate that. I'm a learner. I love hearing new things. And so even though it was not your intention, I did feel like I was taught something today. And it intrigued me enough. Like, I don't think I know everything about it. So know that.
Right.
But it intrigued me enough to go, this is something I should learn more about.
Yeah.
And so if that's all we do, that's pretty damn good.
That was the goal.
So, yes, for sure.
The goal. And maybe I'll give you a little free teaching.
Okay.
Coaching.
Okay.
I'll call it coaching.
I get a little behind the scenes. I was going to say action, but that is the wrong connotation.
Not happening.
For sure. So anything else? I mean, thank you again. Anything else you think about?
I think that I've shared what I intended to share.
Okay.
I think hopefully, those listening or watching feel like it's valuable. Again, Life from Top of the Mind, not sponsored. This is just something Maria learned and feels is valuable. So feel free to take a look if you are intrigued by it as well.
Yeah. And since this is going to be posted on YouTube, we can put some links.
Absolutely.
If there's information that you think was useful, even a link to the book. Again, we are not, but happy to share something that could be useful. So we can throw some links out there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really important to mention we are on YouTube, as I said. This is, of course, an audio podcast as well as you can watch our silliness. I'm hoping to find a way to post this picture. If we don't, I apologize because I've certainly intrigued you about this photo. But if you want to get in touch, we do have an email. brainsgonebold@gmail.com. And, maybe there'll be some other ways coming up soon.
And always feel free to send topics our way.
Yes,
so we are talking about topics that are important to us because we think that they may also be important to you.
Right.
So feel free to let us know if there's something you'd like us to talk about. Of course, like and subscribe.
I'd love to be able to point to something.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know where I'm pointing.
You can find us anywhere you'd find any of your other podcasts. So feel free to follow along as we continue on this journey of talking about some random things a little boldly.
Yes, or a lot boldly.
A lot boldly, maybe. Yes. We'll see how bold we can get.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.